This is Anthony, not so interesting young guy who always liked to be alone. He used to believe he's not a people person. He has few friends, but hardly hang out with them. He is a loser, but not a total loser. At least he has a job, but that's just all. On his way back home, he saw a guy who just dropped his phone, but he couldn't care less to tell him to pick his phone or pick the phone and give it back to him. And he just kept going. Then he received a text from one of his friends to hang out, but he'd rather stay home and do nothing than hang out with friends. So he responded, "No, thank you." But his friend kept texting him and told him his ex would be there. Then he changed his mind and said, "I'll be there." And he got there, hoping he'll see his ex. He met his friend and decided to sit with him, started drinking and all. Hours goes by, but his ex hasn't showed up. And every time he checks his watch, his ex doesn't show up. He orders another drink. It goes on and on and on until he can't take it anymore. He decided to leave because he was so drunk, and then he took one bottle with him. Also, getting mad at himself for showing up, hoping things would work out this time around. But it's all dead end. And then he kept waiting on a text to see if he will get a text from his ex-girlfriend. But suddenly, his ex-girlfriend texted him and then said, "I'm sorry, but I don't think this can work anymore." Anthony got angry and he threw his bottle of beer and he hit someone. Now let's talk about Sharon. Sharon is a scholarship student who's from Korea. She has a dream to be a therapist someday. She hopes to help people have a better relationship, given the fact that, for some reason, she has never made any of her relationships work. She can't seem to figure out why, neither can anyone. But every time she sees her couples together, she always thinks about getting back with her ex. But again, she's not really sure if it's gonna work. She finally thought that if others can make it work, she thinks she can as well. So she texted her ex-boyfriend's friend saying, "Can you please tell your friend to meet me at our usual spot? Tell him I need to talk to him." She felt a bit relieved after sending that text. And then she headed back home, only to receive a call from her school about her scholarship, telling her scholarship has been cancelled. For some reason that is not her fault, but just that the school can't afford a scholarship anymore. She felt very sad about this and she didn't know what to do. She then picked up her phone, texted all her friends to see who can help her, but none of her friends can actually help. She felt so devastated, not knowing what to do at that moment. And then hours goes by, she still doesn't have a solution on how to pay her school fee. Then she had to cancel a date with her ex. And here goes Malcolm. Malcolm is a total loser, lazy and has no job. He's unable to keep a job for 1 month. He always ends up getting sad. He doesn't think at all for his future. But he has a girlfriend who really loves him, and the thought of her in his life is the only thing that gives him hope, and the only thing he cares about. He couldn't afford to lose her. He would do anything to protect her. One day, Malcolm was trying to steal money from her bag, and he then saw a note, found out her girlfriend is about to lose a job. But then he can still save her from losing a job. So he tried to help his girlfriend get her job back. He made some calls and then decided to meet up with someone to fix his girlfriend's problem. Malcolm had no money to take a cab, so he took the subway instead. And he has to be there at a given time. Malcolm got out of the subway and discovered he's already late for the meeting. He tried to run so he can catch up with the person he's meeting with. And as he was walking, he discovered he had to tie his shoelace again. But then his phone fell out of his pocket, but he didn't notice. No one else also noticed, except for one person. He got to a place where he has to use the phone and couldn't find the phone. The man he was meeting with was already waiting for him, and he called Malcolm to remind him of the place or why he hasn't showed up yet. But he didn't pick his phone, nor did he show up. The man couldn't wait anymore, and then he had to leave. This is Tina. She worked at the international student office, and her job is to bring more international students to the school. The more international students she gets, the more money she gets. And that's how she pays her bills and that of her boyfriend. Given the fact that she has to think about her boyfriend's bill to make her needed more money. And she brought in loads of international students to the school, knowing they wouldn't pay school fees. And she didn't even care. And she kept doing it over and over until the school management found out and was very devastated. There is only one person responsible for that, Tina. The school has been paying her for bringing in international students, but none of those students has paid a single tuition fee, and she is well aware of that. So the school gave Tina a period of time to solve it, or she might lose the job. And the school might even cancel the international student scholarship. Tina couldn't do nothing to save her job. She ended up getting fired, and the school canceled the international student scholarship. Tina knew this was all her fault and didn't know what to do. She was too disappointed in herself to go home. She kept wandering around, not knowing where to go. So then, fortunately for her, or should I say unfortunately, she found a bar. She went there, sat there for a while, and while she was thinking about what happened, something happened. A bottle hit her on the head. So now, let's recap the whole story. If Tina wasn't so greedy, she wouldn't have lost her job and also wouldn't have cost Sharon a scholarship. She wouldn't have felt guilty, and instead of wandering around, she would have gone home and nothing would have hit her on the head. Or if Malcolm hasn't been such a loser and he has taken his life seriously and worked hard to get a job that he can keep for long, Tina wouldn't have needed so much money that would put her own job at risk, and Sharon would still have a scholarship and wouldn't have cancelled the date on Anthony that made him got mad to the point of throwing a bottle at Tina unintentionally. And if Anthony has helped Malcolm pick this phone, he might have been able to save Tina's job and her ex-girlfriend's scholarship. And if Anthony has gone home as usual, he wouldn't have to drink a lot to the point of getting angry and throwing a bottle that hits Tina on her head. So what the story is trying to say is, we are all connected, and whatever we do either affects the other person positively or negatively. Our life is like dominoes. One person's downfall affects another person's downfall, and another person and another person, until we all fall. Your decision sometimes may affect you, or it may hurt someone close to you. I hope we all learned from this video, and if you want to see more stories like this, subscribe to this channel and tell us what you think about this video in the comments below. Thank you for watching.